Olá a todos, espero que estejam bem e que tenham tido uma boa semana. Muito obrigada mais uma vez por estarem connosco e por terem, de facto, participado por todas as vossas mensagens de bem-ajam, de preocupação connosco. Nós estamos bem, os testes vieram bem. E fizemos a nossa mudança, já estamos aqui com a nossa academia pronta, com o escritório quase, amanhã já vai estar pronto, e o estúdio também, portanto, tudo a correr. Um abraço muito grande para todos os que nos estão a ver a partir de Portugal, que estão prestes a entrar em confinamento, segundo o confinamento austero. Um abraço muito grande, muita força, nós estamos aqui e agora cada vez mais. So, thank you very much, all of you that join us. Thank you so much for joining us for our week talk about food. This week we started to talk about food. Thank you so much for coping with us and to allow us to do these moving facilities of opening the new academy. We are in Parkview on Tyrone Avenue, and the office of the House of Portugal is almost completed. The 11:11 Let the Journey Begin studio also it's getting there, and we're going to have a very amazing new facility to promote and to offer, so very looking forward. But today I promised you that I had a big surprise, and I do for all of you that stay until the very end. I know that you're not going to regret. So without further delays, because I know that this is also you taking your time for these weekly encounters here, let us talk about all of this Portuguese food. And let's go a little bit back about the culture, as we always do. And there's always a story behind everything. So Portugal is a republican country. This next week, so we are close to have the presidential elections. Portugal is going to enter on hard lockdown from tomorrow, so a big hug to all of you that stay in Portugal mainland and regiões autónomas. Strength, remember that we are here for you, and for those of you that have just made it and have just arrived to Portugal, well done, congratulations to you. And it's important then that you meet up with us on 4:30 Southern African time to find out about what is this behind the Portuguese culture and the Portuguese language. So this week we have elected to speak about one of the most important actions, or culturally and socially and economically most important perspectives with the Portuguese culture, and it's about food. Portuguese, we usually say that nós temos que dar de comer, so we are feeders. In order for people to not badmouth us, we should have a full table and uma mesa farta, as we also say, and there are many histories behind it. It's because traditionally we were a very poor country, so whenever a family would open the doors and put everything they had on the table, that would mean that they were welcome you with both arms. So Portuguese still do that, and the Portuguese descendant the same way. So let us go now a little bit back in the history. So as I said, Portugal is a republican country in Europe with a long and storied history. It is located at the southern western end of the Iberian Peninsula, to the west of Spain and along the Atlantic Ocean. And Portugal is the westernmost country of the continent of Europe, and it still holds authority over the islands of the Azores and Madeira. Portugal formerly controlled colonies around the world, from Brazil to Mozambique to East Timor, Angola, and so forth. And also Macau, which was a region that geographically and administratively was under Portuguese rule uh, due to an agreement with China for 500 years, since 1500 until the year 2000, when we celebrated the handover back to China. Interesting. So Portugal's cuisine is influenced both by its European location and its historical worldwide influence. Although it has just 35,672 square miles of area, Portugal has over 500 miles of oceanic coast, and thus seafood figures prominently in its national cuisine. The terrain for farmers is better suited for pig farming than raising cows, so pork is also popular. And Portugal famed explorers in centuries past traveled the world, bringing back delicacies from abroad. From South America to Africa to Asia, the Portuguese incorporated ideas and elements from their colonies into their food. During the age of exploration, the Portuguese controlled a large element of the spice trade, and these flavors figure prominently in their cooking as well. And that is why Portuguese endure the descobrimentos, the era, the discovery era, because they were trying to find the maritime way. They were so adamant that they could get to China and to India for the origin of the silk and the spice routes by sea. So, learning about the cuisine of Portugal can open you up to delicious new adventures or teach you about healthy cooking and the use of good but simple ingredients. Portuguese cuisine is similar to Spanish cuisine because we use a lot of potatoes. But its own unique geography and history give it its unique flavors and distinctions. For example, the bacalhau or the dry cod. Perhaps the most important staple of Portuguese cuisine is bacalhau or salted dry cod. It is location along the Atlantic Ocean, and its history of seafaring adventurers. Portugal is unsurprisingly fond of seafood, but with the exception of bacalhau, most of it is prepared fresh. Portugal's fishing fleet in modern times could not keep up with demand. Bacalhau de Noruega, Norwegian bacalhau or dry cod, it's the most common type of cod now. It comes from Norway. There are said to be 1,000 Portuguese recipes involving bacalhau. It started with 365, like the days of the year, due to each day the sailors would fish the cod, will dry it with salt, dry it in the sun, and then prepare it differently every day on their way back from the discoveries. And now there are over 1,000 different Portuguese recipes. So with cod, you would never get bored. So more than enough to rotate through one day for nearly 3 years, only eating codfish. That's how much we're crazy for codfish. But the most important day on which bacalhau is eaten is Christmas Eve, when it is the traditional dish. Prices rise accordingly due to demand. So my advice is that buy your cod maybe in November when it's nice and big and nicely priced, because anyways, you're going to keep it dried and stored in your pantry. Just make sure that you put it inside newspaper, and I'll guarantee you won't get that very particular smell all over your pantry. Other dishes involving salted cod involve bacalhau à Brás. This dish is made of shredded codfish, eggs, and thinly sliced fried potatoes, scrambled together. It is garnished typically with black olives and fresh parsley. It's to die for. And another popular dish involving cod is bacalhau à gomes de sá, created at the restaurant at O Lisbonense. Flaked salted cod is sauteed with onions and garlic and seasoned with salt and white pepper. Remember, white pepper powder, not coarse, all right? Then, in a casserole dish, cooked potatoes are topped with the cod mixture and then topped with more potatoes, drizzled with olive oil. The casserole is baked for 40 minutes. At the end, it is garnished with sliced hard-boiled eggs, olives, and of course, fresh parsley. It's almost about dinner time. Thing is, if you don't have the bacalhau prepared, even if you have it in your pantry, you didn't salt it, you didn't put it in water for at least 2 days, it's not gonna be good to eat for tonight, maybe tomorrow. And now let's go to fresh fish. And in Portugal, we love to braai, to do barbecue. But again, we much prefer to grill our fish, our fresh fish. Portuguese cuisine also features grilled sardines as another fish dish. These are fresh, not tinned. When they are cooked, usually the month of June in Portugal, it's when the sun is lower, is closer to Earth, so the light is stronger and the sardine comes to the surface and also to the looking for the currents. So the warmer currents brings them north. And then in Portugal, the coast is full of sardines. Full. So this is a very traditional dish for the whole month of June, where we also celebrate the popular saints. São João, Saint John, more in the north, like cidades like Porto, Vila do Conde, a Povo de Varzim, and Viana de Castelo, I believe, and São Pedro, like close to Leiria, Estoril, etc., and also Santo António de Lisboa, or St. Anthony the Assisi, as you prefer, on the 13th. So these sardines are fresh, not tinned, as I said. And the scales are removed and the fish is salted for 1 hour only. The fish are then rinsed and grilled like that. When served, these sardines are topped with olive oil and a squeeze of fresh lemon. And if they are fresh, you open a bread or broa and you just let it drip and you eat it like that or with a nice fresh salad and some boiled potatoes. It's so nice. Now, let us go. Another popular fish dish is caldeirada. This one goes like so nice when the weather is just a little bit more chill and you want like a hot dish. So this classic fish stew is made from a variety of seafood and potatoes, as well as other ingredients like saffron, garlic, and pepper. Caldeirada resembles French bouillabaisse or Greek cacaviar. The fish in the stew is typically a mix of lean fish like whitefish, cod, flounder, haddock, An oily fish as well as mackerel, swordfish, and tuna. Caldeirada also can have shellfish, squid, or octopus in it for an added variety. Mm. So, what did you think so far? Is it excited? Did you enjoy learning about these typical dishes in Portuguese? Okay, great. And because we still have a little bit of time, and I promised you that I would leave you with a nice surprise, let's dive into a little bit more of the Portuguese cuisine. And why do I say that this is so healthy? Okay, let me see if you have any questions so far, any comments. You are all good. Okay, ready. Don't forget that you can always send us your questions, your comments. You can watch the replays of these videos. If you happen to go on YouTube, please subscribe to our channel and put a comment. It really helps us to get to more people because, as you know, there's not of advertising. So the only way of reaching to more people is if we have more views and if we have more subscribers to our channel. So please just go and put a like either down or up according to which platform you are watching us, Facebook or YouTube. Okay, and let's dive into this. What is Portuguese food? We usually find two types of non-Portuguese people when thinking about knowledge of what Portuguese food is. The ones that have no idea and think that Portuguese cuisine is like the Spanish. Why? And the ones that have the notion that it's good food, but then proceed to talk about port wine, bacalhau, and custards or pastéis de nata. And that is it. When we reply that Portuguese cuisine is not the same as Spanish cuisine and that is much more than simply pork and bacalhau, we are bound to get asked. Then, what is Portuguese cuisine? Instead of replying with a flurry of different dishes and describing where things come from, where we are without fail, left speechless as our brain gets immediately overloaded with images, flavors, and smells of different types of Portuguese food. Let's get digging and finding out what Portuguese food is really all about. Okay, so let's start by breaking some myths. Portuguese food is not only Mediterranean cuisine, but Atlantic, African, Asian, and Brazilian cuisine. This comes, as I said, from Portugal's history, of which also a bit of the world's history, starting with the Mediterranean base that has its roots in the trio bread, wine, and olive oil, complemented by soups, fruit, pork meat, and fish. The Portuguese cuisine also includes ingredients that came from the maritime discoveries like beans and potatoes, Indian spices, or malagueta, also known as chili or peri peri from Africa. But one thing at a time, okay? All right. We'll talk briefly about each of the main parts of our cuisine and hopefully by breaking things down, we'll finally be able to explain what Portuguese food really is about. And if you want to know more, you can ask us about our food and drink tours and even discover a side of Porto or Lisbon that most tourists rarely see. Let's start now with traditional Portuguese bread. Portuguese cannot live without bread. It is a fact. Bread is essential and has always been present in Portuguese cuisine, starting with the cassette, a light bread, all the way through the foulard de chaves, cornbread with meat, passing by the broa de vintes, a dark sweet corn and rye bread that lasts for a long time along the way. Bread is always present in all meals: breakfast, lunch, afternoon snack, and dinner. Yes, and Portuguese are not fat people. Yes. Now let's go to the second step: Portuguese wines. The Portuguese wine cannot be considered one product, but a whole range of products. In spite of the small size of the country, its several microclimates allow for the production of wines as light as vinho verde or as generous as port wine. Vinho verde comes from the north, specifically the Minho region. It's a fruity wine, easy to drink, great for light meals or hot summer days. White and red mature wines have different styles depending on their origin. Usually, the demarcated regions of the Douro, Vão, Sado, and Alentejo. Hmm? We are learning a whole lot today. How interesting is this? Come, give me your questions. I just passionate talking about food and Portuguese culture and language. So, last but not least, we have generous wines like the world famous port wine, the Madeira wine from the island of Madeira outside the coast of North Africa, or the Muscatel from Setúbal or Douro. These are sweet, fortified wines with around 20% of alcohol and full bodied. Wine consumption in Portugal is one of the highest in the world. But this doesn't mean that everybody's getting drunk. This statistic is based on the fact that most people drink one glass of wine for lunch and dinner, something that in moderation has been proven to be good for the heart. Yes, and we drink when we eat. So the chances of getting drunk are very slim, unless you set your mind that tonight you're going to get drunk, which is not a very wise thing to do, right? Traditional Portuguese soups, shall we? We usually say that in Portugal one can make soup out of anything. The base tends to be potato, carrots, and vegetables, but anything that is left over from a meal is a candidate to be mixed into a fine soup. Yet again, each region has its strong soups. In the north of Portugal, for example, we mix slices of chouriço to called verde, composed of potato puree and very fine strips of kale. To give it more taste, in the meantime, in the southern Alentejo region, the word soup also shares its meaning with a sorda, and also in Madeira, who doesn't love to go up Santo and eat a sordazinha in the right in the morning when it's so cold. A sorda is made of pieces of bread in a liquid full of spices, which usually goes with other ingredients like eggs, meat, or fish. Not all soups in Portugal are hot either. Gazpacho, better known on the Spanish side, is also frequent in the south of Portugal for hot days. Yeah, it's gazpacho is a cold tomato-based soup. So, do you want to know what is Portuguese cuisine in one dish? Okay, are you ready for the surprise? Are you at home? Are you close to your kitchen as I asked? Okay, because I have with me a surprise. I have with me a pot of still frozen goods. But this can wait. Whenever we want to show what Portuguese cuisine means in only one dish, a task which is both difficult and stifling, we think of cozido à portuguesa, literally translated, boiled à la Portuguese. Do not be fooled. It's simple name though. This is considered by many to be the national dish. Cannot say 100% of Portuguese agree with this, but then again, try getting two Portuguese to the side what is the best sweet made in Portugal, and you could be in for hours of discussion. So the dish is composed of a great variety of ingredients, cooked in abundant amounts of water, different types of greens, kale, savoy cabbage, couve tronchuda, rice, potatoes. Yes, we love our carbs. Beans, turnips, carrots, sausages like chouriço, farinheira, moura, etc. Other types of meat, usually pork, beef, chicken, and sometimes with added bits of chicken and not so much lamb, but chicken and a little bit of beef, always to complement the porks. The porks. Okay, so I have with me a farinheira. Farinheira. And I have a chouriço. Chouriço. I have another one, salpicão. I have morcela. And alheira. Remember, I told you the one that was made out of bread that the Jewish communities would eat and to fool the Inquisition to think that they were eating pork. Yeah. And I have pork fillet. And this is already on the side for tomorrow. Now tell me, if you are in Europe or in Portugal, I heard it's been quite chilly with temperatures around the 3 degrees. This is a fantastic dish for those cold days. So here, what I would like my challenge to leave for you is, are you getting hungry? I'm going to teach you how to cook cozido à portuguesa. And then tomorrow we're going to cook cozido à portuguesa. How's that? I want you to vote yes for tomorrow or to propose another day. This is the challenge. Now, either ways, here is the list for you to start preparing. I will also leave it on Facebook together with the challenge who wants to learn how to cook cozido à portuguesa. And if you want, then I would actually say that we shouldn't do it tomorrow to allow you for some time. Okay, so propose a date, perhaps during the weekend, then we can then I'll come back here and I'll say, okay, the votes say that this day, and then we go on Facebook and also on YouTube. Make sure that you follow the page. So, to cook a cozida portuguesa enough for six people, all right? This is not a dish that you can do for you and your partner because it takes too much ingredients. You will be eating cozido portuguesa leftovers, and believe me, we can make soups and we can make other stews, but like for too long, and then it's just too much. So for six people, all right, if you have a big family and if you're not in confinement, you'll get 500 grams of beef, 1 pig's foot, I pass, 1 pig's ear, I pass, 300 grams of pork chops, I pass, I change it for a lean 300 grams of pork fillet, 1 chorizo, peri peri, 1 chorizo of meat chorizo, 1 blood sausage, 2 blood puddings, a big cabbage, a cabbage, 800 grams of kale, 1 turnip, 4 potatoes, 4 carrots, 1 cup of rice, 1 meat flavored bouillon, and 1 chicken flavored bouillon, and 1 vegetable flavored bouillon if you wish. I don't. I only use coarse salt and garlic cloves, bay leaves, and white pepper. And of course, if you like, 1 can of pre-cooked white beans or butter beans. Okay? I will leave the ingredients and I will come back and tell you the results of the challenge in terms of the dates. So now you need to put there your date. When do you want us to cook this? There you go. The foods that can make any Portuguese happy. Bon appetit and see you tomorrow at 4:30 in the afternoon, Southern African time. Take care. Bye-bye.